into the winter now. So the summer rains have come and gone, and it is, like I say, going to be a hard time of the year for the herbivores out here. Good for the carnivores because they get to prey on the weakening animals, but it certainly already feels quite harsh and dry, and there's a lot of animals that are coming through to the water holes, especially during the hotter parts of the day. Now you'll notice there's a lot of birds on this big male buffalo's back. You can tell he's a male because where his horns meet in the center, there's no hair and there's a large bulge of bone and keratin. They are immensely powerful animals, and you can see how even as he wades through into the dam here, they certainly command a lot of respect out here from the predators, the lion, who are the main predator that will try and attack them, as well as us humans when we're walking around on foot. Here's a lot more of the oxpeckers. You'll notice a lot of them have got their beaks open, and that's again an indicator of how hot it is. That's how they keep cool. They don't sweat like we do, so they're essentially panting. And these are the red-billed oxpeckers. They've got a bright red bill and that yellow ring around their eye. Their cousin, the yellow-billed oxpecker, also has a little bit of red, half yellow, half red on the beak, but no yellow ring around the eye. This is awesome. The buffaloes often don't tolerate them, especially when they get close to the ears. So let's see what happens here. And the ears are a hot spot for the ticks, the ectoparasites that this oxpecker is looking for. It looks like it just got one there. So huge help to the buffalo as it removes possibly hundreds of ticks per day. Adult oxpeckers have been known to feed on between 100 and 200 ticks per day, and those are the fully grown ticks. The smaller ticks they can feed on even more. Now, a question that's been commonly asked and we haven't really responded to too much is that how long will we be going on here for? And that's a great question. We're going to be continuing the Safari Live experience for as long as possible, and as soon as we do know any more information of when future projects may be unfolding, we will certainly keep you updated. But I'm happy to know that we're going to be continuing here on Djuma and Arathusa for the coming months, and it really is going to be wonderful seeing the transition into this dry winter. And like I say, we'll keep you updated as soon as we know what's going on with future projects. The whole team at the moment is really on a high and happy to be out here, and happy to say that there's absolutely no plans in this operation coming to an end, and I'm very happy about that. I feel like every single person involved in this operation, including you the viewers, are incredibly fortunate, because who would have thought it would be possible to join on a live safari from the comforts of your own home, and not only join in but interact with us. For those of you who are new, I will mention again, this is happening this very second in Africa and getting streamed. How exactly, I'm not too sure, but there's some super technology around these days that gets you this picture instantaneously across the world. And we can also answer questions. So if there is anything of interest that you would like to know about what we do out here, please feel free to send questions through to myself, Scott, And to do that, you would hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or send an email through to questions@wildearth.tv. Now, you would never believe it, but that is a very large animal. We'll wait a moment until it pokes its nose out the water again. And you may have just got a glimpse of what looked like almost a little rocks poking out of the water. Now, there's a few animals that it could be. We'll wait for it to pop up. There's something in the background there, but that looks like it could just be a log that would deceive us, or we would possibly think that would be a crocodile, but it's just a few rocks. Oh, there it is. So, you wouldn't believe that all you see there is the two tiny nostrils, or rather large nostrils actually, of a hippopotamus. And they don't float, so it will be standing at a depth where it's easy enough for it just to tilt its head back and poke its nostrils out in order to breathe. And this one seems to be taking a breath about every 20 seconds, I've noticed, but they can hold their breath for about 3 to 5 minutes. You'll notice the wind, you'll probably hear it, as well as see how it's kicking up some ripples on the dam. And what this wind means is it could be bringing weather. There don't seem to be any clouds on the horizon, but changing pressure cells will cause this. And what we can expect the animals to do now is the predators may be more inclined to be hunting, because with all this wind, their approach visually will be blurred, as there'll be lots of movements of the leaves and grasses blowing. But also the audio of them approaching, the noise that they would be making creeping up on any of their prey, would be muffled by the noise of leaves rustling in this wind. So good weather for predators to hunt in, but the prey animals certainly feel vulnerable, so they heighten their senses and can often be quite nervous in this windy weather. So that's what we could expect from the behavior of the animals this afternoon. Now we are going to continue from here and probably head straight off to another waterhole. We'll slowly make our way there. We're probably about 15 minutes away, hoping to find some other animals, possibly some elephants. But it's important to know that those are only the initial plans for the afternoon. Later on, we've got some really exciting prospects. Now, for those of you who didn't join Mark on this morning's safari, he did a great job in tracking down 2 male lions as well as a single lioness. And the single lioness seems to be kind of playing a bit of hard to get with this big male, who's very interested in mating with her. There's obviously been a scuffle in the past between the two males that could well be brothers, and the one is dominant over the other, and the dominant one is really interested in this lioness, but she doesn't seem to be easing into him very easily. And lioness may do this because they would like to rather attract as many males to them as possible, that way ensuring that only the biggest and strongest one that competes for her will get to be the father of her next cubs to be. And that's obviously a great way in ensuring that only the strongest genes make it through. So she could just be kind of seeing what her options are at this stage, but who knows what her behavior will be like this afternoon. Mark was, and all of you that joined, were very fortunate in that the lions vocalized a few times, and if there's one thing, I've said it once but I'll say it again, if there's one thing that I could show guests on safari during their whole stay, it would be to hear lions roaring from close by. So that happened this morning, and we've actually been fortunate on a few drives over the last week or two. So with a bit more luck, and I know we're getting a bit greedy, but with a bit more luck we will have the lions calling again this evening. I don't think they're going to be active very soon. It is hot, like I say, and lions don't like it when it's too hot. They are animals of leisure when they can be, and they will in all likelihood only begin to get active I'm guessing in around about 2 hours time at around 5 p.m. as it begins to cool. But I'm going to keep tabs on what's going on the radio. I've got an earpiece on and I'm linked into the final control room, who I communicate with in order to make sure the broadcast's going well and that the signal's coming through clearly, and also the game drive vehicles. Now, there's a lot of different lodges in this area, and the safari companies that bring their guests here and come out and have a good time just like we're having, and we all communicate with one another and share knowledge, information on animals, what they're up to. So I'm sure there will be some people heading to the line a little bit earlier on, and as soon as we get an update or an inkling that they're going to be on the move, that's when we'll dash in.